We're gonna have to figure something out where I'm not alone in the frame.
I join you. It's my entrance.
Every episode. Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Like a wrestler?
I don't have like a signature move or
you
anything
want, like,
yet, but
theme song to play?
that would be good.
That would be cool.
I could do like.
You want like glass to shatter, like Stone Cold?
That would be really cool. Oh, that was great.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Drinks on Danberry.
Are we really going with Drinks on Danberry?
I like it. Let us know if you guys like it.
I like drinks and I like Danberry.
Samesies.
They're probably like, what's Danberry?
Okay, long story. Not that long, actually.
Not that long.
Well, welcome back.
Right.
Jasenia. My husband, Jose.
Oh, you gonna let me do it? No? I like when you do it.
Okay.
You can just do it going forward.
Got this.
So that was an interesting conversation last week.
It was.
We do disagree from time to time. Once in a while. We don't really argue. We just talk about it. Oh, okay. All right. That's how you feel. Good to know. Noted, and move on. So you don't think they should be afraid of good debt?
Right. Absolutely.
I don't think they should be afraid of any debt.
Why do you feel like they should be
No,
afraid
you
of
first.
any debt?
Ladies first.
All right. So I think they should be afraid of good debt because good debt is good, right? If you're not afraid of any debt.
Run that back. Say that one more time.
If you're afraid of good debt is literally good, right? You're getting something out of it.
We agreed that good debt is subjective, but
Correct.
It means you're getting something for having that debt. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's what we're using as the definition for good debt going forward.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
For debt in general, obviously having too much of anything isn't the best. So if you have too much debt, such as, let's just say credit card debt, right?
That is no longer good debt.
Correct.
Okay.
Then at some point, that doesn't benefit somebody to have too much bad debt.
Yes.
Now, if they pay it off, then they have available credit, which is great to have, right? And goes for your credit utilization. It goes for a whole bunch of things.
Right.
But essentially, just good debt is the safer way to go. It's more conservative. Oh, now it's your turn.
Well, I don't think people should be afraid of any debt. Learn to leverage good debt, but unless you come from a successful past, you're probably going to hit a rough patch at some point in time. Debt should be there as an emergency, as a safety net.
That's credit, though.
Credit.
That's
Sorry.
Not debt.
Credit should be there she's right. Credit should be there as a safety net for you to use to get out of a rough situation.
Absolutely.
You can't be afraid of the debt on the other side of the credit, is what I was trying to say when I said don't be afraid of any debt. Because you're probably going to find yourself at some point in time where, assuming you are responsible with your use of credit, you get debt, you're going to have at some point more debt than you want to have. You could find yourself in a situation like that, get paralyzed because of the situation, and spiral out of control, or think out of sight, out of mind. If I don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. And then you never fix the problem. If you constantly live your life running from the storm that is debt, all debt, good or bad, I don't think you're going to get to the point where you I learned my lesson with credit and debt by being in bad debt and getting out of bad debt.
Right.
And then you go back and you're like, oh, I never want to go back over there.
Absolutely.
So it's like I learned that lesson by banging my head on the door before realizing you have to turn the doorknob. Some people might not. Some people might say, you know what? My parents always told me don't have bad debt, don't have bad debt, don't have bad debt. I follow people on social media that say don't have bad debt, don't have bad debt, don't have bad debt. But you'll never know that feeling of like making a payment, $250, and then $200 gets charged back in interest on a credit card until you're in it and you're just like, screw this, I don't want to feel this again.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're not going to feel that unless you have debt, bad debt. Good debt is like, all right, whatever. Like I own a rental property, that rental property is paying me back. I understand I have this mortgage on my credit, but I'm benefiting something out of it. Like, I don't think that's a negative feeling. I don't think there's a negative connotation there. Bad debt, it's like, what did I even spend this credit card money on?
How did I get
here? And now I'm making a payment, and like the balance isn't going away, right? So now it's affecting my credit. It goes down
until the interest hits, and then all of a sudden it goes right back up.
Right. So I don't think people should be afraid of debt at all whatsoever. Understand how it works, learn it, master the system, but don't be afraid of it. So I think that's where I get what you're not wrong. It's just like, I look at it as in debt as a whole. Don't be afraid of it. If you find yourself in debt, there's many ways to get out of debt.
There's also reasons to be in debt. Like you said, we've both been in situations where the only way to get out of, say, a situation was to have debt, right? It was there to leverage, and we utilized it. And this was like separately, right? And then from there, you learned, okay, I'm in this like hole. How do I get out of this? And we were able to thankfully have like resources, especially working in finance for so many years, to understand, okay, this is how I would manage it. Or, okay, this maybe do a snowball effect, right? Maybe you have multiple credit cards. But again, I think mine, when it comes to don't be afraid of good debt, is because if someone isn't fully vested in how much credit they have available or understanding how to manage their credit, they should be afraid of bad debt, because if they get themselves into it, how are they going to pull themselves out if they don't understand it?
Yeah, but like, can you find yourself afraid of something that you've never experienced? Like, I feel like the afraid of keeps you from, what if you want to start a business and the only way to fund it is credit? What if you want to, I don't know, if you want to travel the world and the only way to fund your lifestyle is, I feel like the lesson we learned was, don't fund your lifestyle through credit if you can't afford it. And then you go back and you're like, oh, I'm never going to do that. Right? Like, are you currently afraid of debt?
Am I afraid of debt?
Are you afraid of debt? The question was, don't be afraid of debt.
I guess I'm not necessarily afraid of debt. I just like to be able to understand why I have the debt that I have.
Right, but you're not afraid of it.
Right.
Like, as long as you're making your payments, I'm sure.
Yeah, at one point I truly was. Now I have obviously a very good understanding, and I have good money management skills. But obviously growing up, I didn't have that. So now I'm good, but that's not where everybody else is at, right?
So are you afraid of bad? Because if we're having this whole conversation and you yourself are not afraid of bad debt, like...
No, I'm still afraid of bad debt. I'm still afraid of bad debt.
You get anxious. You're not afraid of it.
I get anxious when it comes to having bad debt.
Okay, but you're not afraid of it, because you know that if you have it and you make your payments, and you make your payments on time, and like, stop the bleeding should be the first priority.
Right.
Once you do that, and now you're making payments, and you came up with a plan of paying it off, like, little by little, eventually, hopefully, the anxiety goes away.
Right.
So you're not afraid of it.
Right.
Okay.
It just does make me anxious.
I could understand why most people get anxious by debt. But again, like, if you want to fund your lifestyle, I don't recommend it, but you can. If you want to fund a business, I don't recommend it, but you can. There's a million and one reasons why people will go into bad debt.
100%. Bad
debt. And then it's up to them to dig themselves out. Once you dig yourself out, you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to live a lifestyle I can't afford. I'm not going to fund a business unless I know it's going to succeed. Whatever the case may be. Cool?
Good.
We good?
I'm good.
You sure?
Up top.
Don't be saying it and then you just give me the side eye.
I didn't.
You're going to be like, oh, she's going to kill him.
No.
I survived a week. So this was a question for last week. We didn't get to it. Why do we have an interest in real estate? I don't know why you have an interest, if you do, or if it's one of those things that just dragged you into and you're just like, yeah, this is all right. But if you do,
along for a ride.
I can see that.
Never got off of the roller coaster.
That's fine.
Still living in it.
Got stuck. The thing didn't go up. So, do you have an interest in real estate? How does your interest? What does your interest look like? Why do you do it? And then, I'm going to learn something I don't know, because I've never asked you this question. I always just assumed like you were along with it. We took our real estate classes together.
Yeah.
It was like we showed up holding hands to a real estate class. Instructor knew we were married and like we talked to each other. It was weird, but was cool. But at the same time, it's like, did you do it because I thought it was a good idea, or do you yourself have an interest in real estate?
No, I have an interest in real estate. I think it was you kind of like poke the bear a little bit. Is that but essentially, no. I honestly have an interest in real estate. I think the world of real estate. There's so many avenues into real estate, into funding real estate. Different areas having different market conditions, which I find is very interesting.
Right.
Because it's the same basically playing field, but depending on where you're at, it can be 100%. It could be completely different than where we're located here.
Right.
I think it's very. I find it very, especially for us, right? So we have rental property, so we have tenants. I think it's a way for us. I wouldn't say give back, but I feel good that our tenants, I know, have good landlords. Like if they call and say, "Hey, I have a leak," it's not like that's the stuff you called me on a Sunday. It's like, all right, I'll get somebody there right now, or we will go there. No, we cannot do that. We will go there.
Currently,
like we'll be there in 20 minutes, and we'll go take a look at it and see and assess the situation, see what we can do. Right. So, I think there's a lot of factors into it. There's also like the location on where it's at and where we purchase our properties. I think it's a really. I wouldn't say the area necessarily is really good, but I think where we purchase properties at, there are what you would call what are the property names called for like slumlords? Is that what they're called? Slumlords?
Slumlords?
Slumlords. I say that wrong every time. Anyways, slumlords. And like I said, we purchased a property prior that we know it came from one, because if we could tell you the things that maybe we'll get into on a different time.
Okay.
We saw some things, I think nobody should really see.
I agree.
But we cleaned it up, and we have great families that live there, and I love what we do.
That's why you took an interest in real estate? Yeah. Awfully nice of you.
I'm a nice person. No matter what he says, I'm a really nice person.
Well, I mean, I didn't know the answer to that question. I threw it on there because it's like, why are we even doing it? Like, we're literally walking them through an investment property process.
Yeah.
It's just like, why did we start doing it in the first place? I can't pinpoint why I have an interest in real estate. I mean, when you're in banking and finance for so long, you talk real estate all the time. Not as much as like a realtor would, a real estate agent would, or a broker would, or an investor would. But then you start having the conversations, and then you find yourself in a conversation that you're just like, I would have not had the slightest clue what this conversation was about. But now all of a sudden I do, and it's just like, man, like what else can I learn, right? And I like the concept of it blends a lot of worlds. But like you said, you can have a conversation about, hey, growing up, like I had no idea who my landlord was. I was in an apartment in New York City. I had no idea who owned the building, right? And like to me, it's like the fact that there's like people behind the curtain that like run the place, and it's just like, why must that be the case? Like, why can't you have a landlord that if you do send a text or make a call, okay, I'm on it. Right. Like that's peace of mind, right? And like for us as homeowners and landlords, it's so weird because like if something happens here in the house, oh, we got to get it fixed. We got to get it fixed.
Right.
Something happens somewhere else. Can you imagine not having the peace of mind or the sense of relief because you have a leak or a problem, and it's like, hey, I have a problem, and like you're just putting it out into the cloud or the universe? Like that's so weird. So to me, it's like, yeah, 100% started with not giving back, but at least having somebody who looks like you, who owns the property and manages it, and whatever the case may be. I feel it's the safest of the investments, right? You can go into stocks and bonds or a business, but it's an easy way of taking everything we knew and dumping it into something that was going to provide either security or wealth or growth or income back. And I don't know, I like the concept of being able to, it just feels good. I honestly just think it feels good.
That's okay.
It's weird. It's like you can't wear it. Like I can't wear a t-shirt that says I own investment properties. But I don't know. Those are conversations that I always wanted to be a part of when I was younger, and I feel like now that I'm a part of them, it's just like you got to pay your dues. Success is due every day. So
I enjoyed the real estate course that we took.
Same. It was so much fun.
It was.
Recommend it.
It was
10 out of 10. Recommend.
It was great. Yeah, absolutely. We had a blast doing it, and I think it really just helped us not only because we're in the finance world, but also because we have rental properties. We live in our own home. Like we're going to showings though, and like I'm able to like actually look and like, okay, now let's look at this, or oh, look at the gutters right before you walk into the place.
Right.
Certain things that you learn that before I wouldn't have even thought to look at the gutters, and we're like,
I have to go to 2 showings on Friday, by the way. Just letting you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we're on an investment property journey, and they're going to join us. So we have 2 showings on Friday.
So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and
it's good just for honestly just an education, not even just to take the exam to become a real estate agent, but just the amount of knowledge that you gain from that for your own personal use is amazing. Even if you don't own rental properties.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like all the law behind it. There's a lot of law. There's a lot of financing. There's a lot of banking terms. Okay. So, moving on to the fun conversation.
What's that?
Because we finished everything else. So we like cars.
We love cars.
And last week we were supposed to have a car conversation within this. But you ruined it by disagreeing with me at the end of the video. So we're going to change course. No pun intended. And talk about cars. Only because it is a passion of ours. Right? So I saw a post on social media that asks for... it was like 5. But I wasn't going to have us talk about all 5. Especially not for X amount of time. So, your achievable dream car. Now, what does that mean? This is the dream car that you most likely think you'll be able to have this lifetime, near future.
I think you just say this year.
This lifetime. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
We have other goals to hit before we get another.
And then your
dream car.
And then your childhood dream car, right?
Okay.
I feel like every kid growing up is like, that's the car I'm going to want to have. And then your, what did I say? Potentially achievable dream car. So this one's a little more out of reach than the achievable dream car, but it's still possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to confuse you.
But it's like it's still potentially.
It's not far-fetched.
A little bit.
It's like you're going to have to like really dial in to make this car happen. Okay. This is such a change of course to everything else we talked about. But we agreed we were going to have these conversations.
Okay. Go first.
Okay, but I'm not going to do the achievable dream car. I'm going to do the childhood dream car first.
Okay.
I feel like growing up, everybody wanted one of 2 things. Either a Corvette Z06 or a Lamborghini Diablo. I feel like every kid had a poster or had a computer wallpaper of a Lamborghini Diablo. I was one of those kids. Like, I had one. I had no idea, like, pricing. I didn't care. This car was cool. It looked like a spaceship. I ain't never seen one in person. I was a kid, and I wanted a Lamborghini Diablo. Like, well, that's one of the problems. That was one of the cars that, like, ruined me. It's just like, oh, it's a car. Like, I'll have that car when I get older. Yeah, dreams have been crushed. But anyway, go ahead. Childhood dream car.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with muscle cars. So mine was none of the above. Absolutely not.
Every kid wanted a Lamborghini Diablo. And a Corvette is a muscle car.
You let us know down below if you wanted one.
Every kid wanted a Lamborghini Diablo.
Let's respectfully disagree with you here. So I grew up with muscle cars. Loving muscle cars, going to shows, and seeing like antique cars. So my childhood dream car was a muscle car. It was a Mustang. It was all black. I had it on.
Do you have a year? Do you have a trim? Do you have a something? Is it an all black Mustang? Because I see like we can go get one right now.
Yeah, it was like it was very like old school with the supercharger outside of the hood.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go get that right now.
Yeah. So It was all black though. And even growing up, like when we got a computer, like my background and when I like would do my sign in
was a Lamborghini Diablo?
Absolutely not. It was a black Ford Mustang. And I was like, I'm gonna get that. I totally
boring.
Get that. No, you're not talking.
Achievable dream car.
What?
No, you first.
No, thank you.
What do you mean? Achievable dream car is a GT3 RS.
Oh,
I told you
going the same way.
I told you to go first. And you said no. A Porsche 911 GT3 RS is
Beautiful.
my achievable dream car. I 100% think it's achievable. I only think it's not if. I don't think it's if. I think it's when. It's only a matter of time, and I'm more than positive that my GT3 RS is out there looking for me.
Oh, it's looking for you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking for it, and it's looking for me.
Right. You're just gonna meet in the middle at some point.
We're gonna meet at like on
I definitely think it's
Pacific
achievable.
Coast Highway on the West Coast. I'm gonna be driving in one direction. The car is gonna be driving in the other direction, and we're gonna look at each other, and I'm just gonna know.
Right.
I'm just gonna hop out.
It.
No.
It's just looking for you.
No. Okay. I'm gonna hop out and I'm gonna like run like my arms wide open.
You did say achievable. Okay, yeah, the
car itself
is achievable. Is achievable.
So what's your achievable dream car?
Would be a GTR.
That's super achievable.
So super achievable.
Okay, all right.
I just think it's a gorgeous.
Oh, for somebody, you just went from telling them you like muscle cars, to saying your achievable dream car.
Muscle cars.
Yeah, I caught that right.
I am okay.
Yeah, I caught that right.
With
okay, so
being able to not have another one
by association.
Yeah.
Potentially achievable dream car.
Potentially achievable. I don't know if this one's necessarily potentially achievable. I guess I can go with
potentially achievable.
Okay, so
that's our dryer, by the way. Can they hear it?
They might be able to. It goes off for a little bit.
Anyway,
where's that little thing come from?
Potentially achievable dream car.
Ferrari 918. Porsche 918.
A 918. Okay. That's your potentially achievable dream car.
I did say.
Is our next video going to be like the plan on how to get a $3 million car?
Not necessarily. So I haven't gotten just there yet. I got like I was gonna say, so I always said Ferrari because I was gonna say Ferrari 488.
Okay, that's your potentially achievable dream car.
I was between that and then I got stuck between the two of them.
Oh, okay. So got it. They're gonna be like
Ferrari 488, Porsche 918. Look it up. Beautiful.
We're not gonna blast a picture of it.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Your turn.
Potentially achievable dream car. I already used the GT3 RS as my achievable dream car. My potentially achievable dream car.
Let us know. We're waiting.
It changes every day.
I know it does.
Every day.
Yours is like on a spinner, and then whatever it lands on for that day.
A Ferrari 812 is my potentially achievable dream car. It's not a 918.
A 918. However.
So those are our childhood. Lamborghini. See, I feel like Lamborghini Diablo, Porsche 911 GT3 RS, and a Ferrari 812. That makes sense. You went from blacked out, supercharged blower Mustang.
Love it.
To a Porsche 918 a GTR to a either 918 or 488.
The whole line of them.
Logic.
I have one of my dream cars though.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you. I wouldn't consider myself a car.
You already agreeing like I like it though.
Oh, that was great.
I was like, wow,
that was fantastic.
Me.
Okay. So we told them not to be afraid of debt.
Yes.
Either debt, good or bad. You pledge your case as in why they shouldn't be afraid of good debt.
Right.
I don't think people should be afraid of either debt, but I see your point. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. We talked about why we have an interest in real estate. It really sounded like we just like to give back, like to help people, and like to blend the stuff that we do for a living with stuff that may benefit us in the future. Not may, will benefit us in the future. And we talked about our dream cars.
Good time for me.
Not bad for a Sunday afternoon.
Not too shabby at all.
Anything else?
Say. You can let us know if you have questions,
comments, concerns,
when it comes to credit or anything else that we talk
credit,
about.
business, banking, finance,
He's an
life
interrupter.
goals, motivation. I'm so sorry.
I'm
bad at it.
He's so bad at it.
I'm at the bottom of the cup.
It's fun. What's fun? You're not allowed to drink the Danberry any longer. But yeah, let us know if you have any questions. We'll get to them. Sir, absolutely not.
Till next time.
Very much.
Toodles.
We'll be here. Have a drink with us.
And cut. How far were we on?